Today we're going to talk about the lead gen operating system, the second part of the content revenue flywheel. Now, if you have watched the last video, you know how the content OS works, right? It keeps you visible across platforms without you being the content machine. So, from research, brand voice to writing and design, everything is systematized. And that's how the visibility layer is sorted. But here's the thing that most people don't realize, right? Visibility doesn't automatically become revenue because something has to happen in between. For most business owners, be it coaches or B2B service providers, that in between is completely broken. And that's how things start going downhill. So, the common assumption is if your content isn't generating calls, you need better content. You need to make more posts or write stronger hooks or write a clearer offer. And so, majority of the business owners will go back and fix content, and yet they'll see that the calls still aren't coming into the pipeline. Now, here's what I've learned after a decade in content. I've made 40 million organic views across short form, long form videos and written content, and I've realized that content isn't always the problem, right? Because what's broken is everything that happens after someone lands into your DMs or into your lead pipeline. Now, imagine, let's say you are in some client sessions, right? But someone has sent you a DM, and that's when their peak intent is visible. But because you are already busy, you're not able to reply to them. And after 6 hours, when you're ready to reply, they've already moved on or they've booked with someone else. So you will never see the lead that didn't convert. You just notice that the pipeline feels thin, right? And this is exactly how an infrastructure failure looks like. This is not a content failure at all. Now, the lead gen operating system is the fix for these problems. It has three systems that catch every lead, start every conversation, and move people forward toward a booked call, right? Without you having to be available at every step. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through all these three. The first one is the inbound system, and the second is the outbound system, and the third is the lead magnet system. And once you understand exactly how they connect, you will know why the content operating system that we saw in the last video only pays off when this layer is running properly underneath it. So let's get into it. The inbound system is the first response layer for every lead that comes in through your content pieces. It can use tools like Sales Robot or Lead Shark to to tend to all the received messages. Right now, Lead Shark and Sales Robot are specifically built for LinkedIn, but if you are, let's say, producing content on Instagram, you can use a tool like ManyChat to respond to messages that are incoming to you, so that you take advantage of the peak intent that that particular prospect is already showing, and ensure that you move them through the pipeline to a booked call. And by the time you will open your inbox, you will already have your unqualified leads filtered out, warm leads that are already booked, and you can also see some warm leads that have not booked the calls but are very close to booking it. It's just that they require some human intervention, and that's exactly where you can step in and take the task ahead, right? So this is exactly how the inbound system works. And if you are like facing a flood of leads through your content, it can literally save you around 2 hours every week, trying to respond to every lead manually. The reason the inbound system matters so much is that it directly solves the most expensive problem in a content driven business, and that is the gap between someone showing interest and someone actually booking for your services. Now, most people will lose that conversation not because their offer is wrong or their content is weak, but just because they weren't available at the time the prospect messaged them. And that's where the inbound system comes in. It will handle all such queries all by itself. Now, the inbound system catches everything that is coming in from your content. But waiting for people to come to you is only half of the equation when it comes to building a full fledged lead pipeline that is consistent. And the other half is what separates a full pipeline from an inconsistent one. The outbound system runs your prospecting in the background while you are busy and focused with everything else. Now, if you've done outreach before, you understand how cumbersome the process is. Like, you have to first sort out the kind of people that will be interested in buying your services, which means you need to define your ideal customer profile. And once you've done that, you'll send each one of them connection requests, and wait until your requests are accepted. And once they're accepted, you will try and send them follow-ups unless and until you get a proper reply that closes the conversation. And the problem is it is so cumbersome because you have to do the same process repeatedly across 50 different threads, which makes it really boring. And moreover, if you have client work picking up, this outreach system completely stops if you're doing it manually. The outbound system automates the repeatable parts of that process. You define your ideal customer profile once, that is the profile of the person you're trying to reach, and the system handles everything else from connection requests and opening messages to the follow up sequence. It's not just cold spray and pray, it's a proper planned targeting approach. The messages have context and they're relevant to the person receiving them, right? They are structured to start a real conversation rather than just pitch immediately. The goal at the outreach stage is to open a dialogue and, when the timing is right, introduce a piece of value, usually the lead magnet, that gives them a reason to stay engaged. What the outbound system does is very significant because you see, if you are just dependent on content driven inbound leads, which is powerful in my opinion, but it's also dependent on how your content works, because you can't expect each and every post that you create to work really well and land well with the audience. Because if your post doesn't get the amount of reach, or if it doesn't work well, you can't expect leads to come in. And in the meantime, when the leads aren't there and your pipeline starts feeling thin, this is exactly where the outbound system comes in and starts conversations on your behalf with your ideal target audience, and your lead pipeline feels fulfilled and you can see people are moving through it thanks to the outbound system. It's the part of the lead gen OS that makes the whole thing more predictable rather than reactive. And business owners running this well typically save around 3 hours a week compared to doing the same outreach manually. And they're reaching more people with more consistency than they ever managed on their own. One more important part of this entire outbound system you have to understand is outbound helps you reach people in a targeted manner. Content can be targeted, but it's not necessary that anyone who's coming to work with you through your content, any lead that comes through your content, is necessarily your target audience, right? Even though you are targeting properly, because it's just not in your hands. But outbound system removes that bottleneck as well. So that's precisely why outbound system fills up the second part of the lead gen OS and makes your lead pipeline predictable. The inbound system ensures that all your leads coming through content are well served, and the outbound system helps you reach out to more people who are likely to buy your services. But then there's a third system that is running beneath both these systems to ensure that their attempts are properly executed and they succeed in getting you the required results, and that is called the lead magnet system. Right now, the lead magnet system is what converts passive attention into an active pipeline. But the general definition of the lead magnet is like it is typically a free giveaway or something that is useful that you offer to build a goodwill or grow an email list, right? But that's not how lead magnets work inside the lead gen OS. Here, the lead magnet is a conversion bridge, and its job is to take someone who's interested but not ready to book a call and move them into a sequence that eventually gets them to book that call. What makes this particularly useful is how it connects the other two systems. The inbound system delivers the lead magnet whenever someone asks for it in a DM, and the outbound system will deliver the lead magnet as a value piece in follow up sequences, right? And every piece of content the content OS produces can point to it as the next step. The lead magnet becomes the connective tissue across the entire lead gen operating system. It is the thing that moves someone from a interest stage to a ready to talk stage. And the most important shift it creates is this: you stop relying on people to be ready right now. Some leads aren't going to book a call on the week they first encounter your content, and the lead magnet system keeps them in the pipeline, warms them up over time, and surfaces them when they're ready without you manually following up and trying to remember where every conversation stands. So these three systems will enable one pipeline that runs without you having to hold every thread together manually. If you want to know which of these systems should you install in your business workflows as a business owner, I've created a scorecard that will help you identify that. You can get it from the link in the description below. In the next video, I'm going to cover the third part of the content revenue flywheel, that is the intelligence OS. This is the one business owners will overlook entirely, and it's the reason why the other two operating systems keep getting better over time rather than just running on repeat. So make sure you're subscribed and you don't miss out on it. That's it for today. Thank you.